Good morning. Weirdo.
You're a weirdo.
Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday. Welcome to Wednesday. I see some people. We have our friends in the chat. I see Swift Seller has been sick with the flu with your entire family, which that sucks. Somehow it has missed us. Katie got this awful cold that dragged for weeks, but I, knock on something, haven't gotten sick yet this winter. So I'm due. I'm due for a doozy, I think.
Due for a doozy. Did you just welcome everybody to the day Wednesday?
Yes. Welcome to Wednesday.
Welcome to Wednesday. Everyone, welcome to Wednesday.
Shut your face.
What is happening, everybody? So yeah, it's Gossip and List Day, which is on Wednesdays. And what is Gossip and List Day? Tell.
Gossip and List Day is our all-day virtual listing party that we host in the Boss Facebook group. If you are not in our group, you should be. The link is down below. We think it's the best Facebook group. I think some people think so too. Some other people think so too. We are a motivational Facebook group, or we try to be.
I thought you were saying like you were going to say we're motivational speakers.
Oh, God, no. God, no. I hope not. If you're looking at me for motivation, honey, you need help.
Swift Seller said he was looking for motivation. So why are you bringing us parade?
That's true.
Anyway,
our Facebook group is pretty awesome, I think. We have people that have been sellers for 20 plus years, as well as brand new sellers that are just starting out, and everyone in between, all different types of specialties, people that sell on all different types of platforms. Although we are eBay focused, it's because those of us that help run the group are mostly eBay sellers. And we consider ourselves, I guess, maybe experts in the eBay selling field. We try to teach eBay's best practices, and we try to help everyone, lift everyone up and be better sellers. So on Wednesdays, we have a specific thread where we talk about our goals for the week, or maybe your goals for the day, and try to motivate each other by checking in virtually with our virtual coworkers.
Indeed. So, look at you. You got your little spiel down.
I try to change it a little bit every week. It's true.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely eBay focused, but I will say over the last like year plus, you and I have both been doing a lot more with Etsy. Etsy has definitely become a much bigger percentage of my sales over the last year. And so I'm feeling more and more comfortable with giving people like information and advice as far as Etsy is concerned. I don't feel like I do feel like as far as eBay goes, like we don't necessarily know everything, but I feel like, you're right. We can consider ourselves like relative experts.
I think we've mastered the platform.
Yes. But that doesn't mean that that everything works great and smoothly for us more than anybody else. But I think we have a much better understanding. I think we're very well versed when it comes to shipping. I think that's one area which doesn't really matter what platform you sell on as far as that goes. I think that shipping is one of the areas that we're very skilled at. And Etsy, I feel like we have definitely built up a much better knowledge base over the last year.
We're getting there. We definitely have to. We've talked about doing a series about Etsy, and we have to get on our butts and actually do that within the next few weeks. We should film our first of that series.
Yes.
We're not going to do it live because clearly we get distracted by the chat and a million questions, which is fine. We love doing our shows live for that reason. We want to be interactive, but those shows will be filmed and they probably will be slightly edited and not live so that we can focus on getting content to the viewer.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
So
in it to flip it, just gave us a $3 super chat.
Whoa.
So I got my box. Thanks, Katie. A little bit of a super chat, say super chat, yeah. You thought you were gonna get away without?
Yeah, you're a weirdo.
You're a weirdo. Anyway, awesome to see that you got your box. Hopefully you loved everything in it. I saw earlier. Sandra was talking about she did an unboxing video yesterday.
It was cute. I watched it.
Yeah,
and she was very singy like you. She was singing every other word. It was funny.
Hey, I'm into that. Anyway, so happy to get some good feedback. Noelle says that she's listing vintage T-shirts and such. And she wants me to fly on over there and help her out.
Just send her a million messages asking about everyone. She loves that.
Hey, I like seeing vintage T-shirts. They make me happy.
That's true. She would She would answer. If you have questions, you can't find something. If you're looking to figure out how to price something or the decade or something like that, go ahead and send her messages. She doesn't mind.
For sure. But anyway, things are pretty lively here at home today. You've got someone downstairs doing photography for you.
I have my photography helper that is here right now, and then my listing helper will be here around noon. I usually have them come on separate days, but they're going to be here on the same day today, which helps. I mean, together they work about 7 hours combined throughout the week, so it's not like I have 20 or 30 hours of help, but about 7.
Yeah.
About 7 hours, 8 hours of help, and I'm very grateful for it because it does help me get my business to the level it needs to be at. I have not been sourcing quite as much as I normally do, although we've been out a lot sourcing this past week to 10 days. I think I haven't picked up as much. The pickings have been a little slim. Waiting for people to really jump into the yard sale season. It doesn't ever stop here in Vegas, but it gets really slim and when it's cold. So there's only a handful of 10, 15 throughout the whole valley on a Friday or Saturday. And that's not quite enough. And people that start to get into cleaning mode right now. This is the time of the year when people are cleaning out their houses, their garages, they're getting rid of, they're purging the old and buying new stuff, which is great for us that are both resellers to buy and flip and resellers that are selling to people that want new stuff. So this is the time of the year when we start heading out of winter and into spring. As soon as it starts getting a little bit warmer, that you find good stuff at the thrift stores. So right now it's kind of in that stale mode, and everybody's getting their credit card bills from the holiday. So
so I will say that it does seem like it does seem like in the last year the presence of who we would consider just through visual cues to be other resellers at thrift stores has really increased almost exponentially. Like it feels like, and I don't know if other people have experienced that. But
well, I think it's been with the explosion of YouTube over the past few years, and not to say that obviously we don't contribute to that, but our little audience is certainly not creating exponential resellers.
Well,
but
here's the reality though. It's like, yes, we contribute to putting out the knowledge and helping others to discover this as a way to earn income. So for sure we create competition. However, what you have to understand is that anytime there is any kind of market or industry or anything that is created or comes into being that is a viable way of making money and making profit, eventually it is going to become saturated with people that are going to join that field, whether it's back in the olden times when the first automobile was built. It starts out back in the olden days. I'm just saying, like anything that's created or any industry, like, yes, there's going to be the pioneers that are going to remember the good old days when they were making money like crazy. And then they're going to be, complaining about how now everybody's doing it and they've got our secrets. But that is always going to be the case if there is a way to make money. And so, yes, do we contribute to that? Sure. But that's just the way it goes.
Listen, I've been selling online for almost 20 years. And can I tell you the message boards, because that's what everybody had then. We had message boards. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have groups. We didn't have YouTube. When everyone was on the message boards, all it was a constant bitch fest of how eBay and the World Wide Web has ruined reselling for everyone. So now this is just the new wave of how it has ruined reselling for everyone because of YouTubers telling everyone their secrets. I don't think it's a big secret, guys. Everything in the world is Googleable. It's just a matter of, it's not a get rich quick thing. Yeah. And that's the thing that you're going to get a huge influx, as Crystal says there, you're going to get a huge influx of people that are going to start doing this and have been doing that for the past few years. They jump into these groups, they watch resellers on YouTube and they're like, hey, I can do that. And then they really can't, because 75% of them are not, if not more, are not going to stick with it and don't realize that there's a lot more work involved and knowledge involved than it looks like. It's not like, hey, I'm going to go buy 10 things at a thrift store and I'm going to make $1 million. Right. It doesn't work that way.
Well, and yes, like in the beginning, it was easier for people to make money doing this. And now there's a lot more competition. There's a lot more saturation of items. And so again, like with any other industry, any other market, it's going to be the people with the higher skills that are going to make it out on top. And it's like, it's going to be harder to be good at it and it's going to be harder to succeed. But if you learn, if you build that knowledge base, if you build that skill base, there's no reason why you can't be successful at it.
Right. And here's the thing, and talking about YouTube and our smaller audience, which we appreciate because you guys are very loyal, and we have a very connected viewership. So we do appreciate that very much. We are not a huge YouTube presence, and I don't know that we ever will be. We've been doing this for over a year, almost 2 years now, and we don't even have 10,000 viewers. And we should hit 10,000 in the next couple months, actually. But whatever, it is what it is. I don't knock anyone that has 100,000 plus viewers. Those that do have put in the work to get it. For the most part, they have worked their butts off putting out content and content. I have no desire to spend 20 to 30 hours a week creating YouTube content in order to create viewers. I'd rather list stuff and sell stuff and make money.
Well, because for us, our number one goal, our number one source of income is reselling. And so, if our goal was to build a YouTube channel that would provide us the majority of our income or a large portion of it, then we would be committing a lot more time and effort and resources to it.
Right.
But the reality is, it's just a byproduct of what we do, and the fact that we naturally, both of us have are natural leaders, and just in any job I've ever had, and I think it's the same for you, I've always risen to, or any position, anything I do, I always rise to a level of leadership or management. And so, and with both of our backgrounds in nonprofit stuff, it's like, this is what we like this part of it, but it's not our number one priority.
Yeah, I definitely miss you guys when we don't do a show for a while. Like, I'm going away in February for a while, and Katie's going to be here to do a few shows without me. And, I'm going to miss doing it. But by the same token, I like that it breaks up my week a couple of times a week. And
yeah,
I like interacting with other resellers and teaching,
like chat with you guys.
People. Yeah,
sometimes we go 3 or 4 days without leaving the house.
It's true.
But at least we talk with our stranger friends.
It's better than talking to just each other for a few days.
Yes, but yes, they're Ruby Sons, aka Lauren, says there's enough stuff in this world for all of us, though. There really is. I mean, there is so much stuff out there. There's, as far as stuff to flip. And so again, it's all about, you can't, if you spend too much of your time externalizing, obstacles and struggles and why you may or may not be succeeding, then you're really just missing out on the opportunity to make yourself a better seller. And there's plenty of opportunity out there. But yes, it is going to be the people who focus on how to become the best sellers themselves and don't focus on who might be taking it away from them, because it's not about the competition. It's about you being the best at what you can do.
Yeah.
And what's available to you.
I know you guys are chitty chatty in the chat room today. Chat room? Wow. In the chat, it's not really a room. It's kind of an offshoot of
It's a virtual room, and that's what chat rooms are.
It's true.
Right? It's just a virtual space.
And Sandra, we appreciate you and your friendship too. Now, actually, we really do like you guys, and that's part of it, is we really do like to stay connected. We had so many people walk up to us at Open last year and the year before and be like, "Oh my God, you don't know me, but I feel like I know you." And I've said this before, but it's like, well, you do. I mean, you do know me. You do know Katie. This is us. This is
every eye roll that Vicky gives to me is absolutely real and genuine, guys.
It's true.
I really do drive her crazy.
It's true. It's true. And if you guys know us in real life or have met us and hung out with us for any extended period of time, this is pretty much it. It's not like we're putting on a front or something. This is kind of
pretty much.
I think if I were putting on a front, it would probably be better.
Yeah.
I would try harder.
Jen, don't worry. Nobody's going anywhere. Vicky is just leaving for 6 days in February to go back to Rhode Island for a wedding. What's funny is, so Vicky has it's just funny how different we are as people. So I actually am much more of an introvert. I love alone time. I love just chilling out and not interacting with other people. And Vicky is much more of a social person. And so I know the last time, over a year ago, it was a year and a half ago, the last time she left for 10 days, she had reached out to our friends to make sure that they included me and asked me to go and hang out with them. And I told her this time, I'm like, I am not going to do anything with anyone the entire time you were gone. Do not tell anyone to invite me to do stuff, because you know what's going to happen. I'm going to say no. I'm going to enjoy 6 days of solitude.
It's silence,
me
apparently.
and the dogs. Actually, no, because I'll probably have somebody come over to do the Sunday live haul or whatever with me. But other than that, I'm not doing anything social. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going out. I'm going to stay in my pajamas for 6 days straight. I might shower a couple times.
I hope so.
Okay. Maybe
one's going to want to come over.
Times. Okay. Fresh pajamas every day.
All right.
But they will be pajamas.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm probably going to work a lot, but it's going to be fun. I'm going to have my music blasting. I'm going to bust out my turntable. I'm going to play some guitar, and I'm not going to talk to anybody.
You're going to play guitar? I got her a guitar for Christmas. It's been in the case since Christmas.
Whatever. I've told her a million times I need to get picks for it. I can't play with my fingers. Anyway, it's going to be awesome. See, Allison's on board. She says, hell yes. I love my alone time. Vicky just doesn't like listen.
I could do like a day or two.
She's gained an appreciation over the last couple of years of like staying home and not going anywhere. But that's
I used to be out like 3 or 4 nights a week up until I met Katie.
But that still includes hanging out with me. Like she's still with me. And so, but to her, like being like alone, like totally alone, she's not into it.
Couple days.
No, I said alone.
I don't mind being alone for a couple of days.
No, I leave to go sourcing and I'm gone for 2 hours. You're like, where are you? Why haven't you come home yet? What's happening? I miss you. So no, if I was gone for 2 days, you wouldn't like it.
It's true.
Full of lies.
Yeah, see, Greg says he'll help you get up to speed on guitar. That's true. Greg will be here by then.
Indeed. No, I have, but I told you, Greg, I'm not doing anything for 6 days. I don't want to see your face. No, I just need to I like using really flexible picks and I don't have any. So I just need to get some. And we've been busy. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And this one over here, every day, she's like, why haven't you played your guitar yet? What's going on?
I've mentioned it twice.
No,
every day.
It's been way more than twice. Way more. Let's talk about that poster right there that I got you last year that still doesn't have a frame.
Because it's a weird shape.
Whatever. Anyway, guys, this is our Q&A version of the show. So if you guys have any questions, if you're struggling with anything or trying to figure something out as far as reselling goes, or maybe, I don't know, maybe we can give you a little psychoanalysis. If you have any
I know. Clearly, we've already impressed our super fan with the thumbs down, by the way, which was there before we started the show.
Yeah. Then we make sure we don't forget about them.
Well, it's usually 2 or 3 from the same person with multiple accounts.
Yeah. All right. So, but anybody that has any questions, see, Jen likes being home alone. It's true.
It is true. I don't mind being home. I can go a whole week without leaving the house.
But again, I'm with you. Yes. That's the difference. I'm talking about alone. I'm talking about like alone with your thoughts, not having to talk to anybody, all of that.
It's true.
Everybody needs that sometimes.
Yeah.
But see, you're like, well, I don't get it. Get it.
I like people.
Every once in a rare while, she has something to do without me, and I jump on the chance to be like, stay home, and she doesn't get it. She's like, why don't you do something with your friends? Why don't you go do something with the guys? And I'm like, nah. No thanks. Anyway, so Annette's Addicts wants to know, Vicki, you said you were charging flat rate shipping. Is this in your business policies?
Yeah, so I'm just charging a flat rate. So back in October, I changed all of my first class. Yes, I use business policies, first of all. I changed all of my first class items to start charging $3.75 per item for shipping. Very rarely is it under $3.75. It's usually over $3.75, but it's just a way for me to recoup a little bit of the cost without it looking like an exorbitant amount. I'm not doing calculated shipping. I don't think calculated ever looks the way it should to a customer across the country. That's just my opinion. Domestic. I use calculated for international. So I just changed it back in October and I saw no difference in my sales. Here's the thing. I'm not selling things that you're going to find multiples of elsewhere. I'm not selling anything that I'm in competition with other people on generally. Maybe 10% of my items are something that you'll find multiples of, if that many, on eBay in general. So I don't think charging shipping is hurting me in search placement at all. And so just yesterday, I changed my priority shipping. Priority is pretty much anything under 4 pounds for me that I consider priority. which is usually jackets and some blankets and sweatshirts and jeans and all that kind of stuff. I changed that to $6.75. So, which is, again, there is nothing that you can ship priority for that little, but it helps me recoup $6.75 out of the shipping cost on every item that I sell, but also is not looking exorbitant to a customer. Say somebody wants to buy a pair of boots from me and they live in Florida. If I used calculated shipping, it would be like $14 and change or more. And me charging $6.75 is not hurting my sale or my search placement or anything like that. But I've gotten to the point where I do analyze my business every year. And at the end of last year, my largest cost by and far, almost as much as my cost of goods, was shipping. Yeah. So shipping costs have grown exponentially in the last 3 to 4 years. So for me, it is no longer cost effective for me to offer free shipping.
Pop Rocket Lisa found a vintage Woolrich coat and a hyper color sweatshirt this morning at Goodwill. Lisa, you need to post those in the boss group because I want to look at the hypercolor sweatshirt and drool over it. I also love Woolrich, but I've found Woolrich multiple times before. Never have I found a hypercolor sweatshirt or t-shirt. So I'm super jealous, but I do remember in middle school, I never had a hypercolor shirt, but my friends did, and they were cool, man. So anyway, I see a lot of people on board with the getting some alone time. JC Home Alone with movies and cocktails is the best. And Laura Franzica feels me because she knows what it's all about. Yeah. I like Reseller Project says, I love being alone. I can go weeks without seeing anyone but my mail guy.
And somehow Michelle, that's Michelle, by the way. Somehow Michelle also does a YouTube show every single day. Single day.
Crazy.
She doesn't edit, so that's one thing she did correct me. She does every single day. She does YouTube and she uploads, I guess, while she's shipping and stuff. Which, God love you. I'm not camera ready every single day. Do I want anybody to see what I look like every single day? So that's pretty good.
Yeah. So Markesh7 wants to know, do you find more resellers moving from selling clothing to shoes because it flooded the category, because it's a flooded category on eBay? You talk about clothing being a flooded category. I mean, this is one of those things where it's like, yes, clothing absolutely is very, very saturated. And that's because there's just so much clothing out there. There's so much out. It's an easy thing for people to source.
So my answer for that is I don't ever pay attention to what other resellers are selling.
Right. But what I want to say is that what's different with like how we do our clothing reselling is that we're going for stuff that's a little bit harder to find. And stuff that's higher value, like we both do a lot of vintage. And so that's the difference. It's like, if you're doing just basic clothing though, yeah, it's pretty saturated. I don't know.
If what you're selling is American Eagle and H&M and things like that, and only those things, and you don't have a huge variety, and you're paying more than, say, bins prices for that type of stuff, I would say that it is absolutely saturated, and you're probably having a very difficult time selling through your inventory. If you're paying bins prices and all you're getting is mall brands and everyday brands, and you're selling stuff for $15, $20, $25, and that's your business model, God love you, go for it. I think that can be done. It's just not a model that I embrace. We also don't pay bins pricing. I went out last night. We did some sourcing. I didn't pay less than $15 for anything I bought. So, I mean, I'm not going to sell it for less than $75 each item, but I'm not getting things for 99 cents a pound.
Now, Jill Little says it's saturated, but still doable. You're right. And we had Trish Glenn on for No Pants Friday After Dark a few weeks back, and she's somebody who is able to do like just basic clothing and do it well. But the secret to her success with that is that it's really all about high volume when it comes to that kind of stuff. And so she has multiple people working for her, and so it does work for her. It's just you have to come up, right, you have to figure out what sales model
her
works.
Her profit may only be $3 or $4 on each item when all is said and done, or $6. I think she gets $6. I think she said her average is $6 profit on each item, but she's selling, and that's after all costs, expenses, hires, and all that kind of stuff. She sells in large volume because she's pumping it out. So that's an entirely different business model. If I wanted to manage a bunch of people and deal with that, then great. The good thing is that she doesn't touch most of her stuff. So she's got it down. I mean,
right.
Really.
So everything comes with its own challenges, because then she's got a lot of people to manage. And she's going to come up with a high volume of stuff to source, which she's able to do because she buys like pallets of stuff. And whereas our challenges are is that it does get difficult to affordably source the unique items that we're looking for at higher return on investment, which you do pretty well, but then you have weeks like this week where you kind of struggle to get enough stuff.
Oh yeah, I had a hard time finding stuff this week for sourcing. I'm also having a really crappy sales week. I went from having $3,000 weeks to $1,500 week overnight. So it happens. It all averages out.
Yeah. So Crystal Rose's Closet says, do you use Etsy Standard or Etsy Plus? I use Etsy Standard. When you say Etsy Plus, I'm assuming you're talking about their thing that's sort of like their version of having a store like on eBay. I mean, I haven't looked at it recently, but the last time I looked at it, I didn't feel like there was anything worthwhile that came from signing up for that.
I don't even know what the difference is, honestly.
It didn't really, because like with eBay, it's like if you pay for a store, it's like you're able to do sales, you get a discounted rate on your listings. Like there's benefits to having a store.
I've never looked into it.
Etsy, no, that's eBay. On Etsy, I didn't feel like there was anything equating to that made it worth doing a different level of other than just basic Etsy. So unless there's something new with it that you can clue us in on.
Yeah, I mean, we are not Etsy experts by any means. We just throw our stuff up there and we're happy that it sells sometimes. Yeah. She does way better on Etsy than I do, but I am also a real hard ass with my pricing. The one thing I need to figure out how to do on Etsy is how to refresh stale listings. So I have some things there that are over a year old, and I'm sure that they're not being seen, just like it happens on eBay. And unfortunately, I don't really know how to do that. I know that delisting something and relisting it is not what it does it, because it just deactivate and reactivate. It doesn't really change anything. So there is a new thing that's happening with List Perfectly that we've talked about a little bit in the group, and I'll just they were in the chat earlier. There's some new things coming up with their new program for that we'll definitely get into when it actually happens. But it might be possible for me to like get all of my stuff from Etsy and upload it onto List Perfectly, and then reload, and then end the listings and then reload them onto Etsy. I might work at doing something like that. It depends on how their new program that they're working on looks.
So Noelle wants to know, when you have a tag that says assembled in Mexico of US components, which you'll see that kind of thing a lot, do I say manufactured in Mexico? I always go with the other country, because it'll be assembled in like other countries from US materials. I always say, because it's like when anybody who actually pays attention to made in USA
and wants to buy made in the USA.
Yeah, anybody who's paying attention to that, it's because they want to buy something that was made in the USA. And so I want to make it, I don't want it to be misleading and then them to think that they're getting something that's made in the USA when it's not entirely true. Yes, it's partially true. But yeah, so I would just say made in Mexico. Anyway, so Sandra wants to know what time is the next Yesterday's Fits box dropping on Friday. It's going to be same time, so 10 o'clock, but I'll be putting up a video late Thursday night on that. And also I'm going to be putting up a sourcing video from this last week tonight, probably. So that should go up tonight, and then tomorrow night will be the Yesterday's Fits one, and then Friday morning is when those will release. And it's just another 10 boxes this time, so we didn't have enough stuff to do more than that and still have them be really good quality. So any other questions, guys? Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
So Jen says she sells mostly clothing. ASP hovers around 25 to 35. They have so much clothing. If that's what's available to you, sometimes that's what you've got to get. Going through it, weeding out anything that won't sell for at least 25. That's a good idea. I won't buy anything that won't sell for 40 plus. And that's kind of where I am right now. I won't list anything for less than $40. I have a handful of listings that are under 40 when they go on sale, or I've had them for a long time and I'll accept less than $40. Don't get me wrong. Hats and things like that. I haven't bought hats in forever, but I got a bunch of hats last year, like vintage hats, super cheap, and they sit forever. They drive me crazy. I'll sell those for $15 plus shipping because I think I have 50 cents in them, but it drives me crazy to have stuff that low. I need to bulk through. Last year I went through and took down, last April, I took down about 200 items. 200 clothing items, and it was just sweaters, sweatshirts, and jackets. And gave a bunch to Lorna and then donated the rest. So I think I'm going to do that again with some of my other categories this year, because that's pretty solid right now. I don't think there's anything I want to get rid of in those categories, but some of my other clothing categories I've got to go through this year and clean out. And
I used to, so, with my average sale price hovering around $50, I used to list t-shirts that were, I would list them at $30 and $35. Not all of them, but some of them. Now that I am spending more, I'm buying, spending more on my cost of goods. I'm buying higher valued stuff. I've kind of gone away from that. And most of the stuff that I pick up now, I'm not picking it up if I'm not able to list it for over $40. And that's even with t-shirts and stuff. So because my cost of goods are going up, but that also is leading to my average sale price going up. It's been up over $70 the last couple of weeks. So
yeah, mine's between 50 and 60 overall, and that's where I like to keep it. I don't spend as much as Katie does for my items usually, so I still have a higher ROI.
Yeah.
So quick question here from Vasquez Vintage Girls. Do you use an inventory system for keeping track of location of your items? Why or why not? Asking for the community. So the answer is neither one of us do. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't. We are just two of those strange people that don't do it, even though we have an awful lot of items. My inventory system is that I have 2,600 items, and I know exactly where every single solitary item is on any shelf or anywhere hanging up, because I have that ridiculous brain. Because I'm the one that lists every single thing and puts every single thing away, I know exactly where it is, and I try to group like items together. So I can tell you, there have been times when Katie will do shipping for me, and usually she figures out how I keep things and she can find it fairly quickly. But if she can't find something of mine, like when I've been away, she'll be like, okay, where is this? I can be like, okay, third shelf down on your left-hand side, right next to X.
I understand her system, even though it's not really a system. I understand like how she puts her stuff away. So like even there'll be times when she can't find something, just because, when you just look and look and look and can't find it. And I'll be like, okay, let me go in there and I'll find it. And pretty much every time I find it.
I lose something about once a week. Do I lose it permanently? No, I always find it. It's usually hidden behind something else, or I've looked 3 times and now I'm insane and I want to stab somebody. So I can't find it. And then she'll go in and find it in 30 seconds. Yeah. So as far as that goes, I do not have an inventory system. If you're in our Facebook group, Teresa has a fantastic inventory system that she's talked about many times. And I think there's a video in there, and even maybe the slide presentation from when she did eBay Open a year and a half ago. She had an awesome thing about that.
Yeah. So Swift Seller is asking, does USPS still give free boxes for priority? Yes. So I just want to say, as far as we know, yes. I don't know what has happened or what you experienced that's making you ask that question.
Because the rumor has been going around that they're going to do away with that. They have not yet.
Okay. So then all we know is yes, they're still doing it. I know that sometimes your local post office will be stingy with what stuff they will give you or how much they'll give you, but you can always order it for free on the website. Lori wants to know about our Etsy how-to videos. Yeah, we just mentioned it earlier. We're definitely going to do those sometime here in the very near future. So
we just got busy with Q4 like everyone else, but now that it's slowed down a little bit, we'll definitely film them.
Okay, so reseller project question about vintage Pendleton board shirts. No, they don't always say board shirt. I feel like that's more of a more recent thing where they have like that literally says board shirt on it. No, they don't always say board shirt. Most of the time the vintage ones don't say it at all. But there is no other type of Pendleton shirt that looks like a board shirt. It's the flap without the button over both pockets. And then there's the straight hem, and then there's the loop collar up at the very top where it's just that little kind of string loop instead of a buttonhole.
Or elastic loop.
Instead of a buttonhole. Those 3 things are what make it a board shirt, and that's what all the board shirts look like. And so it doesn't have to say it's a board shirt for it to be one. Anyway, let's see. Okay, so Ruby Sun says, I think the rumor stemmed from the survey the USPS
I saw
a while ago. what was the survey? Were they asking like, how much would you lose your mind if we took away free shipping?
I don't know. It was a rumor about it. Well, Casey did a video about it, but it was also the talk in several groups. See, Katie doesn't go into very many groups, and she never watches anybody else on YouTube. I occasionally do both of those things, so I kind of.
I mean, I barely go into our group just because it's like I'm usually working. I'm sorry, but I just don't do as much. You know, we do these shows. I will.
That is her contribution.
No, we do these shows. I do daily posts in the group. But honestly, it's like I don't have the time to hang out and talk and stuff like that. Vicky's a little, and the thing is, you know, she'll say, "Oh, you leave it to me to do it," but the reality is that Vicky is much more active on social media than I am anyway. You know, if you follow her on, for those of you who are friends with her on Facebook, like she actually posts regularly, and it's like she is one of those people who does that, whereas I do not at all. So
I generally don't accept, and just in case anyone's there, and I have not accepted a friend request on Facebook because there are a few. It's not a few. I probably have 150 waiting in the queue.
Yeah.
I don't accept friend requests on Facebook unless I know you personally, and I've interacted with you, you know, generally in person. If not in person, then at least
extensively one-on-one.
Yeah, because we do the show, virtually. We have the Facebook group. I always answer questions through Instagram or what have you. Anybody can follow me on Instagram and ask questions.
We're not friend collectors.
Yeah, I'm not. I do try to keep my Facebook page to personal friends. And not that I don't consider my stranger friends personal friends, but I hope you understand the difference.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's necessary. It's like you know, like you said, like you are very available, even through messaging on Facebook.
Sure, I'll answer messages
and through Instagram. It's like, you know, how much more present or available
I have about
do you need
600 friends on Facebook, and I think I could probably get rid of 200 of them, but I don't want to hurt feelings, so I never do.
Yeah. I never pay attention to any of it. I just
you never post.
There's
never post on Facebook.
No, I never post on Facebook, and occasionally I will.
Your profile picture is still Santa.
Yeah, occasionally, true. Occasionally, I will look at Facebook and I'll see somebody's thing, and I'll be like, "Who is that person? I don't even know who that person is." Like, I actually do need to go through and purchase. I'm like, if I don't even know you by name, like, then I probably shouldn't be Facebook friends with you, just because. I mean, it just doesn't really make any sense. But here we've got Red Neckerson Resales, $1.63 super chat.
He's changed it. It was
$1.67. Anyway.
No.
Thanks, Nate. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, Nate. Anyway, guys, any other questions? Continue to throw questions at us.
There's a question right there. Do I know anything about Mrs. Tiggy Winkle figurines? Not a thing. Nope.
Mrs. Tiggy Winkle.
It's a funny name, but no.
Interesting.
I have not encountered. That's not something I know about. Sorry.
Interesting.
If prices are all over the place on eBay, then I would check eBay solds and then go on Terapeak and check on Terapeak and look at solds. And that'll give you a better idea of
for the last year.
For the last year of consistently what the items sell for.
Yeah. I think if you're not using Terapeak at all, you should definitely be doing that to look at solds. So especially if you, like, for me, because I sell like vintage stuff, and it's hard to really look at like a 3-month period and get any kind of idea of like what something sells for. Being able to look at the last full year and then sorting it from top to bottom. It gives you
a better idea. And if it's something that's super, I don't know if they're vintage, I'm assuming they're vintage. You know, if it's super vintage and the values are worth it, it's definitely worth, you know, even signing up for the trial on WorthPoint. WorthPoint is another, they go much farther back. They kind of go back, I don't know, like a dozen years or something like that. So
yeah, for sure. Well, like Sandra there was a Harlem Globetrotters like warm-up jersey that she got in her box. And I was looking at it on eBay, and it's like the prices were kind of all over the place. And there were a lot of similar ones that were up for sale for very low. But if you look at Terapeak especially, you can see multiple ones. They're just like the one that she has, that in the last year, even in the last like 6 months or so, sold for $90, $70, $60. But if you just looked at like the really, really, really recent, you would see people having them listed for like $27. Not the same one exactly, but similar. And so you really have to be a little bit more savvy and look at some more detail before you assume that something sells for like those really low price points.
So Jen has a question that should pop over in a second.
Okay.
Well, no, not really. There are some hateful people in the community in general. I think that
overall, no.
Overall, no. There's one or two.
Have we had some issues that some people know about? For sure. But overall, as far as being YouTube people, where people find us through YouTube and watch our show, and then they become stalkers or lashing at us or anything like that. No, haven't had any issues at all. Haven't had anybody find us online and then cause us problems or anything like that.
We've had a few leave creepy messages. Yeah, Nate asked creeper vibe. There's been a few creepy messages and comments on videos here and there.
I think that's more trolling as opposed to fixated on us and coming after us or anything like that.
So we've been pretty lucky. I think if we were at the level of like Ryan and Allie or Casey, I know Casey has an awful lot of haters. Ryan and Allie get them too, which I sincerely cannot understand because they're two of the sweetest, most genuine people I've ever met. Not that I can understand Casey, but Casey can be a jerk just like we can, and I'll tell him that to his face. I love Casey.
Vicky said I did not say it.
Not this time.
Mean.
Not this time. But yeah, Casey can be a jerk. I can see why somebody would be like, I hate this guy, but Ryan and Allie, I'm always like, really? I don't understand that one at all. But yeah.
What time is it? I'm going to make sure I tell Casey the exact time marker that he should go look to see him being bashed by you. So speaking of being attacked, one of our own attacked by you. No, we love Casey.
Yeah, you sent a picture question to me, Noelle. I don't have my phone here, honey. My girl is taking pictures with my phone right now, so I'll check it later. Sandy asked, is WorthPoint more for antique items or do they do nearly anything? WorthPoint is definitely for vintage and antique only. It only pulls from those categories on eBay as far as sales, not just eBay, but it pulls from other websites as well, like Ruby Lane and things like that. But it pulls only from categories that are antique or collectible or vintage.
But I will say with what I sell, I do use WorthPoint every single day and I find it valuable. It doesn't give you a complete picture. I definitely, Terapeak gives a much more complete picture just for the last year. But I do, when it comes to really unique stuff and like vintage stuff, it's helpful to me to be able to see even what's sold like in the last few years. And a lot of times I can find information I can't find anywhere else by looking at WorthPoint. So it really just depends. So, yeah.
I think Candace is right. I think Ryan and Allie get some haters because people are jealous.
Yeah.
And I think whenever somebody succeeds in any industry, in any walk of life, you are always going to have people that will hate you and try to tear you down because of insecurities and jealousy. And that says a lot more about them than it does about you.
Well, it's like people who, I feel like it hasn't been as bad like in the last several years. But when Anne Hathaway was kind of like at her peak, especially, and like was doing a lot of like big movies, like she was one of those people who, like, I've never seen her be anything but nice and sweet. And like, there's nothing controversial about Anne Hathaway. She's just this beautiful, funny, whatever. I don't know her personally, obviously, but she's one of those people like who has like a lot of haters and people are like really vile towards her, like online and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, it's so weird. It's like, it's this bizarre thing where if somebody's successful and it doesn't matter how nice you are, it doesn't matter what you do, what you put out there, there are going to be people who are super hateful about it. And then if you're successful, you're going to have it. It's going to happen no matter what.
We don't have too many. We've been really fortunate. And I think part of that is because we are really transparent. Don't get me wrong. I have haters in real life and I'm sure Katie does too. I don't know how though. She's much nicer than I am, but there are people that, you don't click with people. It's okay. If you don't like me, you don't like me. You don't have to like me. I don't like everybody either. And it's really obvious with me if I don't like you because it's all over my face. I can't hide it. I'm not good at being fake. So if I don't like you, I don't like you.
Yeah.
But I don't hide behind a computer. If I don't like somebody, I just don't interact with them. They're not a part of my life. So I think that's the way most adults handle if they don't like people.
Yeah. And, she says I'm a lot nicer. I mean, for the most part, like people who are really hateful don't, the people when we get trolls or people that put up like really shitty messages in the chat and stuff like that, and they end up having to be deleted and stuff. It doesn't, for the most part, that kind of stuff just kind of rolls off my back, just because I get that like it really isn't about me, and they must have like something really pretty miserable going on in their lives, or they really have a lot of self-hatred, or I mean, they're not living a happy life when they're like that. And so
I think people that are hateful
I'm
in
more
general,
likely to feel sorry for them, because it's like, man, their life must really suck that this is what they're putting their energy into. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I prefer to, keep nice people around me.
Grandma Cheap Cheap says, I like you.
Well, we like
she likes us, and Jen says you guys are the most authentic, down to earth people ever. And really, like I think our personalities come through pretty well, because I mean, there's been plenty of times where you get a little sassy, you get a little bit sassy, and I think we're pretty much, we definitely, when we're not on camera, there's a lot more potty mouth going on. We both are pretty.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like our personalities are pretty, you get what you get. We are who we are.
I definitely have, I mean, I cuss on this show once in a while, but I'm pretty careful, I have to say. I know when to keep reining it in. I'm around children all the time.
Really?
I'm around children a lot.
Are you calling them children? Is that what you're doing? Now you're insulting the entire audience. What is wrong with you?
I know how to keep my potty mouth in check. I'm around children a lot, is what I'm saying. But I do have a potty mouth, that's for sure. I do curse a lot, and some people find that highly offensive, and I understand that. So I don't curse at people, but yeah, I do curse a lot.
It's very true.
Yes, they need to rewatch. That is Katie's favorite expression, honestly.
Because it's so true, and I tell it to her because it's so true. Because it's like, seriously, worry about yourself. Worry about yourself.
She says that all the time.
Because it's true.
Yep.
Come on.
See, Sandra says sassy is classic New Englander. I think sassy is a nice way of saying bitchy is classic New Englander. But that's okay.
I would take sassy and bitchy. They both pretty much sum you up pretty well.
That's true. That's true.
With a heart of gold, guys. With a heart of gold.
Pretty accurate. Yeah. See, Debbie, former trucker here, potty mouth. That's why I love you so much, Debbie. Debbie has a potty mouth like I do, and she looks like this everybody's sweet little mom. So Debbie's got such this little baby face, and she's so tiny and petite, and she's got these cute little cheeks, so she looks like everybody's mom, and so nice, and every other word that comes out of her mouth is the F-bomb, and I love it. I think it's fantastic.
So Allison says, I have no time for people who take up my time with nonsense or stupidity. I will dismiss them immediately. I will say, like, one of my biggest issues is somebody who's like not being authentic, and it's like if I feel like somebody's being super fake, or I feel like they're not genuine, and that kind of ties in with, I think if somebody's not authentic and not genuine, I don't think that they can be a true friend that's gonna like I feel like loyalty and honesty go hand in hand to a certain degree, if that makes sense, at least as far as like what my values are. So yes, I'm somebody who's like super nice and super forgiving, but I think Vicky's witnessed it a couple of times where it's like, once I get my read on somebody and I've given them some opportunity, and I get to that point where I'm like, this is not like, this isn't worth.
I'm a little bit more forgiving than you are.
Yeah, she's definitely more forgiving, whereas I'm more. You're more forgiving in the long run. I am more. I'm trying to think of like the best way to put it, like nicer or more relaxed in the beginning, if that makes sense. Because to me, it's more about the deeper personality, the deeper things about a person. And then once I kind of like make my assessment of like, oh, this person doesn't have my best interests at heart, this person isn't going to be there for me when I need them, then I'm like, okay, I think I'm kind of done. Does that make sense?
Maybe.
Whereas somebody for you can do something very egregious and you're willing to forgive it more.
I think if somebody is genuinely contrite and they are genuinely sorry for something they've said or done, I will almost always be the person to extend, if not extend the olive branch, I will accept it.
Yeah.
And I forgive.
I agree with that. And I feel like I'm the same way, but guess what? Sometimes I don't think somebody is genuine about that. And so if I don't believe it, then it's, I don't know. Anyway. we're getting really deep into the
I know, right?
philosophical nature of people. And
I may not ever trust again, though. That's the hard thing with me. Like
Yeah.
if you break my trust horribly, it is very, very difficult to get it back.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I love people of all types and all backgrounds, but the thing that ties together like what it is I look for in the people that I hold close to me, that I allow to be close in my life, is being honest, genuine, and I think considerate. I mean, considerate seems like too broad and simple of a word, but when I want the people that I hold dear to me to consider the people around them. Does that make sense?
Sure. I know, as Sandra says, deep thoughts with Katie and Vicky.
It's true.
Seriously. Yeah. So, I mean, what you see is what you get with us. And I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay, because not everybody is mine.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are my friend, the other thing that I say too, if you are my friend, I'm not very good at surface friendships. If you are my friend, I give all of me to you, and I try not to expect the same in return, because I realize that not everybody is like that. But I am definitely like that to the detriment sometimes, but I also wouldn't change that part of myself. So I am one of those people that if you're my friend, I am definitely that 3 a.m. phone call for almost anyone I know. If you are my friend and you need me and you call me, I will be there. That is not just lip service.
Yeah.
And I know that of myself. I am a very, very good friend. Now, can I say that about other people in my life? Not everybody for sure, but that's not the way that everybody is made up.
Sure. And I agree with that. And there's a certain amount of like, some people just aren't as good at that kind of thing, about like being there for you. And sometimes it's just a matter of like, they're just kind of oblivious to what the expectations are. But I guess it's more like people who actively do things that are going to hurt you and they don't care.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. So anyway, now that we've gone so deep,
eBay, reseller, thrifting, it's hard to find good friends nowadays. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that that's like a matter of like nowadays, this time in history, but I do think that as you get older, it's like, think about it. When you grow up, you have those friends that you know so deeply, and you share so much of your life with them because you're in school. So like, for instance, your best friend, Jason Miller, like you grew up with him, you lived like pretty much next door to him.
My mom and his mom live next door to each other.
Right. And so it's like you have that bond that can't be recreated later in life. And so once you become an adult over a certain age, it's like it's different. It's just different. And so I think that's where it gets harder to find those people that you share values with, that you want to share like your personal life with.
Yeah, I think as you get older, it's a lot harder to discern who are going to be those friends that become like family. I think that's what it is.
Dupage Picker, Greg, you just quoted my favorite Jack Handy deep thoughts. If you drop your keys in molten lava, forget them, man. They're gone. Because that seriously is my favorite. I was obsessed with deep thoughts when I was in middle school, and I even wrote my own. Mine was life is like a burrito. When you squeeze it in the middle, stuff comes out. So Dana downstairs laughing. Dana didn't even let me finish my line, and she said, "You're stupid." Shut your yak, man. I don't appreciate you. I don't appreciate you either. But Greg, I appreciate you.
You guys are funny.
Dana, you're cut off.
Greg, I'm looking forward to you moving out here because I'm so excited for you to be one of my concert buddies. You have been deemed my new concert buddy, whether you want to go or not, because Katie does not like the music I like. And you like about probably 90% of the same bands that I like. So that's it. You're coming with me.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're going to be my concert date.
Yep. Anyway, guys, so we just got a few minutes left. We'll wrap it up. The pups are gone. Right? That's why Dana just came in the house and they didn't freak out. The pups, we got rid of them. We sent them away to boarding school. No, actually, I just dropped them off this morning at the groomers because, man, it'd been a while. Grizz is like real scraggly and real, like her hair is like getting crazy and ridiculous. And they're I don't know what happened, but something happened because
I think it's because all they do is burrow under a blanket in the bed and the body heat together, and they're just stanky. Like area of the living room where the
Yeah.
dogs' beds and the dogs
Yeah.
are. I finally looked at her yesterday. I said, Jesus,
It's too
making
much.
my eyes water.
They're generally not stinky dogs, but it's been like a number of months since they've gone to the groomers.
Oh,
and
they
so
stink.
we take them there. So they have been washed. Grizz has been shorn, so she's gonna be like a little puppy. And Grizz got her little nails clipped. Luna like chews her nails to grow, or they do, but she chews them before they get long. So I'm gonna go pick them up. All their bedding has been washed, so we're starting with a fresh slate. I'm gonna go pick them up, and they're gonna be super cute because they put like little bow ties and bandanas on them, and they're gonna smell really yummy and be soft and clean. And
they're gonna be cute.
I can't wait.
Oh, so Jen, we would totally be concert buddies if you lived here, honey. I would help you leave that house and that anxiety. I am not kidding you. I'd be at the house 2 hours early. Let's go. We'd be going to shows together. I promise you that, because she and I definitely have the same taste in music.
Yeah. Indeed. Anyway, yeah. Oh, for sure, Sandra. I'll take a picture and post it of the groomed puppies, or maybe I'll make Vicky do it.
They do look cute when they come back with their little bow ties and bandanas on. They're cute.
Yeah, they're gonna be real excited. When I took them in there, I take them in one at a time because I can't carry 2 puppies. And I was holding Grizz, and there's like a cat. There's a couple of cats that hang out at the groomers that are just like loose walking around. And one of them like came right up on the desk and was like, I was petting it, and Grizz was going. I could feel her whole body was tense because she's scared of cats. So she's all. Anyway, all right. It is just about noon. So what are you doing after this? What's your day looking like?
I'm gonna make some lunch. And then I'm going to list, because I have my 2 fantastic helpers here helping me now. And I'm going to get the best use out of them while they're here. So I'm going to list while they get some stuff done. And
yeah, I only have like a couple of things to list. But I'm going to get that other video up. And then I probably later today start processing my stuff that I sourced for this week, because I'm going to be doing pictures tomorrow.
Listing. See, I can hear the peanut gallery chit-chatting down there. So yeah.
Yep.
We will see you guys on Sunday.
No, I thought Friday night.
Oh my goodness, I almost forgot. Oh, we will be here Friday night, so I hope you'll be here too. So 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock for you East Coasters. So you should be good and tired, or good and wired, or one of those. Maybe good and drunk, even better. 7 o'clock, we're going to have Thrifting Nomads on. So Will and Jenny, they are super fun, super adorable.
They're so cute.
We love them. And once you see Will's little dimples with his smile, God, I just want to squish him every time I see him. So yeah, we'll get to see you guys Friday night, and hopefully
No Pants Friday after dark. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. It's going to be crazy. So yeah, we'll see you then. But thanks guys for coming and hanging out with us yet again. We love you.
Bye.
You light up. I was trying to sing a song to you. Right. You don't light up my life. You guys light up my life. I don't know.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Bye.